Today, Peace and Freedom, Queen Mother Imakhu with you again to share some thoughts on a very significant topic, initiation. What is initiation? Well, first of all, let me say that the topic has become greatly in vogue over the last 30, 40 years with the advent of the New Age community, New Age wisdom, which is actually ancient wisdom that had its roots in African spirituality and had a profound effect all over the world and was far reaching into really every major spiritual system that you can think of has been touched by and birthed through the ancient African systems. But initiation today, through not just the New Age, but also the advent of mysticism and occult information that has become so very readily available via the internet, and also a lot of books that people have authored putting in information that used to be held in sacred trust that would be passed on only from mentor to mentee, from elder to the young student, from teacher to student. And a lot of people put information in books just basically to show off the fact that they know this information. And so information that is divinely inspired, or information that has been learned because mainly it being experiential and not just something that one person heard and then passed on. This coming into awareness and coming to understand the different levels of awareness throughout your life is truly what initiation is. But what it has morphed into has it's become the attainment or the quest to attain not so much information, but proof that you have been able to spew out a certain amount of information in order to get a certificate or to get a status symbol that is associated with whatever quote unquote alternative religion that exists. Just to give you an example, with the Kemetic tradition, in many of the circles, at least through the lineage that I came through, the big deal was getting an Ankh. That was the proof that you were the big mucky muck, you were now a priest or priestess. And the initiation period began at somewhere like 3 to 5 months, which is really not enough time to really learn a system and have it in you, blood and bone, and then to turn around and be declared someone who is worthy of looking up to be able to turn around and teach you, because you have only received a truncated amount of information. And, I learned from personal experience that truly it takes years and years and years to obtain the amount of information that would really make you worthy of carrying an Ankh. And because it's been made so easy, and even I must tell you, I went through the whole thing of replicating the models that I saw where it was even a year. I extended it to a year and a day, then 2 years. And it still was not enough for my students. I saw firsthand that people would parrot, they had some experiential moments. The method that I teach through is through art, and coming to understand the intricate energies that are involved with the Kemetic system through infusing them into the art, calling upon them when creating the art related to each of these guardians, Necheru energies, facets of the divine. But still, it's just not enough time, because initiation is life. And I'm not saying that you have to have a lifetime before you become an Ankh carrier or before you obtain this particular title in this system or whatever. But what you bring to your studies revolves around what goes on in your life. And even if you are not seeking a title, even if you are not trying to get a certificate, uh, life still is initiation. From the time that you come out of your mother's womb and you begin growing, and as you learn more and more about the world about you, as you become, uh, as you are growing, then your perspective on life changes. And it's it's just the way that it is. Initiation should be viewed in the same way. Uh, it's not just about, well, learning the symbols for this healing system and all of this. Uh, because what you really want is to be able to apply wisdom to it. And that means being able to take risks in the same way that you take risks in life. I find that, well, going back to the whole thing of wanting a certificate, I do water initiations. And when I was initiated, I wasn't looking for a certificate. I'm old school. I came through the various initiation systems where, it wasn't about looking for the certificate to prove that you went through it. And so, no, I wasn't looking for a certificate to prove that I had been baptized in the water and that I had this experience. No, 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 no. And I have to tell you that for the students that I have baptized, I very quickly came to see that the ones who asked right afterwards, well, can I get a certificate to prove to everybody that means that you have not gotten the point at all. And I came to realize that even in the preparation for the baptism, I through trial and error, I found out that people really had to prepare. And this is old school. This goes all the way back in ancient times, okay? And what happened in Christianity with baptism, it was replicating the system that Jesus, whether you want to believe in him or not, but still with what you read about Jesus, his going to ancient Egypt and learning the mystery system there and preparing, studying there and supposedly in India for baptism. It took a while. And I'm quite sure that the mystics of all the ages, after they went through their various levels of initiation, didn't say, hey, listen, can you give me something written that I can put on my wall so I can prove to everybody that I did this? No. Why are people so eager to be initiated today? And let me tell you what it's like. This is what I'm saying. This is like the epidemic with it, okay? Is I liken this to a person going into a traditional church, knowing that eventually they have a calling on their lives to become a minister, and expecting to go in, walk to the front of the church, and announce, "I'm going to be the minister." Okay, so just let me go through some through Sunday school for 1 week, and then let me just serve on the usher board for a week, and take some Bible study classes, and then y'all declare that I'm a minister. It doesn't work that way. When you walk into a church, you've got to, first of all, hang out the church. You got to join the church. You got to go to Sunday school, Bible study, okay? Maybe you'll sing on the choir. Maybe you'll serve on the usher board. But you've got to learn about what it is to live the Christian lifestyle, you know? People who go in and just self-declare and think that they can just walk in and take over or have power handed to them like that generally are people who are megalomaniacs, okay? And folks who are just looking for the power or for some level of respect because of feeling disrespected, all right? And or even wanting to belong to this big mucky muck club. I want to wear a collar and all this. It's the same with mysticism systems today, and including in the Kemetic tradition and many other African traditions. People will go through their year in a day, and after that, they're focused on being able to make money from initiating other people because now they've got a title. It's a money making racket. That's the other thing. It has power and money. It's a racket. At some point, you should want to know, actually from the very beginning, you should want to know, how do I live this? And also having the wisdom to seek out teachers, to seek out people who know more than you do. That's where wisdom really begins. Because otherwise, you can be self-declared, but then you're going to be faking the funk in trying to catch up with what you don't know, going around just repeating what you hear other people say because you have not had the experiences yet, or you have not had the patience to, or the humility to put yourself under someone else and to learn. Humility is a big part of it. And I tell you, the best of my spiritual teachers humbly submitted themselves over and over and over again in order to keep growing. That's all I know. That's the best of what I know. And so for people who get the title and then that's it, you're not going to get much information from them, all right? That's not the kind of teacher, leader that you also want to be. You don't want to be that. You want to be able to be wise. In ancient cultures of all of our foremothers and forefathers, for anyone who is watching, it was typical to take the youth through a level of initiation, and then, pre-adolescence, okay, adolescence, teenage years, preparation also for being an adult. And then even in the adult years, you have preparation for stepping into parenthood. You have preparation for becoming an elder. I remember when I got to a certain point in my journey, because like it or not, I ended up becoming a priestess, a high priestess, an ordained minister, and an elder, and also a healing minister. And with each step, I was aware of the fact that I needed somebody to teach me. When I became an elder, a young elder, okay, I had actually stepped away from my elder for a few years to try to make it on my own. And at some point, I said, I got to go back because I need guidance. I can't guess at being an elder, okay, especially because being on the younger end of the tip, in my late 40s. I need somebody older than me to be able to teach me to be an effective elder, an elder leader of a temple, I thought about all the other times before when I said, I need somebody to guide me. So, and even now, when I speak to elders, I sit humbly at their feet and I listen. I'm talking about true elders. I don't mean people who've gotten older and who are acting a fool. That's another whole, it's another video. I'll share my dating stories with you sometime. But because, when guys get older, at least in my age bracket, when they become 50 and older, then some of them don't want to accept the fact that they're older and they still come at you like you're teenagers, it's not attractive. There ain't nothing cute about it. But the opportunity to sit at the feet of true elders who are able to impart wisdom to me is like gold. And I'm aware of the fact that when younger people come to me and ask for my guidance and the joy in being able to share what my experiences have been and going down the road is, again, golden. Because when you go through a lot of stuff, then the wise thing to do is to be able to share with those who are willing to listen, those who ask, what the pitfalls are, what to do, what not to do. When it comes to this level of mysticism especially, a lot of people are fooling around with energies where they have no clue. I can generally tell from conversations I have with people about who is having authentic experiences and who's faking the funk. A lot of people want to have mystical experiences with the astral and so forth, but then they can't cope with living here on Earth. What's the point? Let me tell you, if you're really dealing with the astral, let me just tell you that I know if you really are, based on whether you've had the atrocious stuff happen, because when you're learning, there's some really crazy stuff that happens, okay? But then also, there are some astounding things that happen. There are things that will happen to you that seem like it's out. Listen, these science fiction movies, they're based on truth. Because a lot of the stuff that happens out there, you know, uh, is real. But it also takes a certain amount of strength, a lot of guts, and tenacity to work through it. And you need to make sure that your stuff is tight. You make that it's pure, all right? Because of all the different levels, there are toxic levels too. People think that just because you're dealing with other realms, everything is pure. No, no. I've been trained in exorcism, and I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot to watch out for. And you need to know what you're doing. Just like I was saying in terms of dealing with the elements and dealing with water. People think that everything is all wonderful and going to the water. There are spirits that will meet you there, that will take you, that are not necessarily the best, that have your best intentions. There are hierarchies in the spirit realm, okay? And that includes with the elements as well. So you need to know what you're doing. You need to have somebody guide you who can teach you, so that way you'll avoid a lot of the crap. I remember when it got really intense for me, being trained in astral warfare. And it was so intense. I said, I got to step away from this, you know. And, but I ended up getting my training in other ways, in dealing with all kinds of spirit creatures on this plane, let alone the astral. It ain't fun at all. People get excited about doing exorcisms. There's no fun in that either, okay? And a lot of people engage in or go on the quest for initiation because they want to think of themselves as a superhero. Listen, it's more important to learn how to master living on this earth plane. And it's important to learn how to love one another. And truly, if you want to be superhero status, the best thing you can do is to learn how to live harmoniously with the planet. Because the truth is, that's when true mysticism happens. But it's firsthand and it's natural, okay? When you show respect to nature and you put your petition out there, then nature will respond. People want to push energy, force things to change. Man is the only creature on this planet that force fits energy to meet their will. And that's out of harmony with nature. It is. I would advise you, if you are on the initiation path, no matter what it is, okay, whether it is through healing, whether it is through gem therapy, whether it is through yoga, and there's an initiation path with that as well. I mean, it's deep, it's intense, and it's not just a matter of getting your certification, okay? You should get an understanding of all of this in you, blood and bone. Doesn't mean you have to convert to whatever system, just in the same way that you learn about yoga in general. Doesn't mean you have to convert to Buddhism, but you do come to an understanding of Buddhism. And it's the same thing with Kemetic yoga, okay? There are stages with it. I'm going to tell you something else, too. I see a lot of people out there who are trying to compete with me. I'm not into that. I don't dig that, okay? And to me, it's another thing where if you see me and what I do as competition, then you haven't, well, that's your journey, okay? It's not mine. I'm not here to compete with anybody. I'm here to happily share what I know. I'm one of those reluctant teachers, I mean, even with the yoga, I wasn't sharing at first. I was keeping it to myself. And, when my students finally asked me to start sharing, what I know because of my experience as a yogini and as a high priestess and as a scholar and putting it all together. I was just practicing it privately, um, and that's fine. But anything with competition, competing with other temples, people will call me and say, "Queen Mother, do you know such and such a temple is doing such and such?" I don't care. I really don't care. Okay, I really don't. I really don't. Don't call me and tell me what other temples are doing. All I know is what I'm doing. Okay. I see that we're running low on minutes here. The time for this session, and so I'm going to bring this to a close right now. If you have any further questions about just living harmoniously with the planet, please reach out, contact me, and if you want to find some deeper levels of peace, I'm more than happy to share with you. Meria, much love, Heri, be at peace.